situation at Stellantis is, I think the technical term, a mess. You know, we have seen a real collapse of sales. Their global earnings, which are heavily dependent on North America, were down about 48% for the first half.
Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, has just made a shocking announcement on Jeep. The iconic brand, once synonymous with rugged outdoor adventures and off-road escapades, is facing an uncertain future. The news isn't just a headline, it's a major blow not only to fans of the brand, but to thousands of workers whose lives have been impacted too. It feels like we're witnessing a dramatic series unfold, with unexpected twists that keep us guessing. So what's the scoop for Jeep moving forward? With Stellantis facing market challenges, the big question is, will Jeep maintain its legacy, or will we see a major transformation? And how will these shifts affect you? The demise of an icon. The situation surrounding Jeep is becoming increasingly dire, with workers feeling the pressure more than ever before. We're not talking about a few job cuts here and there. Stellantis, the giant automotive company, is closing Jeep. And it raises an urgent question. Why is this happening? To understand the root of the issue, let me take you back to the inception of Stellantis. This massive corporation was born from the merger of two automotive heavyweights, Fiat Chrysler and PSA Group. This merger was supposed to create a powerhouse in the industry, allowing both companies to pool their resources, share innovations, and, ideally, thrive in a competitive market. On paper, it seemed like a win-win situation for all parties involved. However, as we've seen over time, reality can often paint a different picture. So what exactly has gone wrong? Let me explain. Jeep's identity crisis. After the merger, Stellantis started implementing a series of strategic shifts that transformed the company's operations. With a new vision steering the ship, the leadership began re-evaluating existing brands and their roles within the newly formed conglomerate. However, this adjustment has not proven successful across the board. In fact, many of Stellantis' brands, Jeep included, are not faring well in this newly defined world. It's alarming to think that a brand with the storied heritage and reputation of Jeep is now facing serious struggles. Jeep, renowned for its rugged vehicles and adventurous spirit, should naturally thrive under these conditions, but the problem lies in the stark contrast between Stellantis' corporate ambitions and the essence that makes Jeep so appealing to consumers. The company seems to be pushing a new formula that doesn't resonate with the loyal customers who have been the backbone of the Jeep brand for decades. This disconnect not only alienates fans, but also leaves employees in an uncertain position, the exact opposite of what a successful company should aim for. What makes this situation even more perplexing is the intense focus on innovation and electrification in the automotive industry. Many companies are racing toward electric and hybrid models to adapt to changing consumer preferences and environmental demands. At a glance, it may seem that this should serve as an opportunity for Jeep to rise above the fray, merging their adventurous ethos with greener technology. Yet Stellantis seems to be struggling to navigate this critical transformation. Instead of leading from the front as a pioneer in sustainable exploration vehicles, they risk losing touch with their audience entirely. When we dive into the market performance analysis of Jeep, it becomes clear that the iconic brand has been grappling with some serious competitive pressure in recent years. The financial fall. Let's talk about the cold, hard statistics. Jeep's US sales have been on a consistent downward slide over the past half-decade, and the situation shows little improvement as we stride into 2024. Boilerplate numbers reveal a significant 9% decrease in sales for just the first half of 2024 compared to the same time frame in 2023. When you look at the bigger picture, the statistics paint a bleak image. A jaw-dropping 34% drop in sales from Jeep's peak performance, when they sold more than 973,000 units in 2018, down to a staggering 643,000 units today. That's a dramatic downturn that raises serious questions about the brand's strategy and appeal. Now, let's delve into what has led to this considerable slump in sales. One of the most telling factors has been the discontinuation of pivotal models such as the Jeep Cherokee and Renegade, both of which enjoyed respectable sales figures before their axing. Together, these models once boasted impressive combined annual sales that peaked at around 300,000 units between 2016 and 2019. Losing these two heavyweights from their lineup has had profound implications, highlighted by CEO Antonio Filosa, who explained that this discontinuation slashed Jeep's average market coverage by an estimated 80%. Now, that's a dramatic shift that can hardly be ignored. It's worth noting that while Jeep is grappling with these issues, the larger automotive industry doesn't seem to be sharing in the company's woes. In fact, other manufacturers like Toyota and Honda have steadily been making gains, carving out market share for themselves by offering smaller, more affordable SUVs that resonate well with consumers today. The contrast is stark and poses a real challenge for Jeep, which needs to reassess its offerings to stay relevant. Turning our attention to Jeep's financial health, the woes continue. Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, recently disclosed a shocking 20% drop in US vehicle sales in the third quarter of 2024. These figures are not just numbers on paper, they carry substantial weight. As a result of this distressing trend, financial analysts have begun downgrading profit forecasts and stock ratings, creating an even more daunting scenario for the brand. To add another layer to the complications, the company is now dealing with an inventory problem that's hard to overlook. Due to diminished demand, Stellantis finds itself awash with excess inventory. This surplus isn't just a temporary blip, it's forcing the company to rethink its production strategies entirely. They're left with no choice but to implement production cuts, and in an effort to boost sales, they've been rolling out substantial discounts on vehicles. The aim is crystal clear. They need to move product and reduce dealer inventory levels to a more palatable figure of about 330,000 units by the end of 2024. It's a challenging situation, and the urgency of these strategies underscores the scale of the problems at hand. As Jeep grapples with its declining sales, the competitive landscape is becoming increasingly fierce. This intensifies the pressure on the brand to adapt and innovate. Competitive pressure. One of its biggest rivals, Ford, has managed to keep a solid foothold in the bustling SUV market. Now, think about this. In 2022, Jeep sold a total of 684,613 units across the US. This figure sounds impressive at first glance, but hold on. This marked a significant decline of 10.94% compared to the sales figures from the previous year. Meanwhile, Ford appeared to hold its ground more effectively during the same time frame. Fast forward to 2023, and the scenario hasn't improved much for Jeep. Sales continued on a downward trajectory, plummeting to 641,166 units, which translates to an additional decline of 6.35%. You might be wondering if there's any silver lining in these clouds of data. Well, there was a slight uptick in quarter 4 of 2023, where Jeep managed to post a 7% increase in sales. It's a nice glimmer of hope, but when you look at historical performance levels, it's evident they're still trailing behind where they once were. Jeep's overall market share has dipped in a troubling manner, falling to 3.92%. This decline from earlier higher figures highlights a noticeable loss of competitive edge that can't be ignored. Now, let's zoom in on what Jeep has called the volume model, the Grand Cherokee. This model did see a promising 22% increase in sales during the last reporting period. You'd think that would spell good news for the brand, right? However, this boost is somewhat overshadowed by disappointing sales numbers for other models, particularly the Gladiator and the Wrangler. These two vehicles experienced significant downturns, and that's not the kind of headline you want surrounding a reputable brand like Jeep. So, what's going on here? Why the drastic shifts in performance across their model lineup? On top of these market pressures, Jeep's reputation has also taken some hits due to various key incidents that have altered consumer perception significantly. One major blemish has been issues specifically related to the Wrangler model, issues that have sparked legitimate concerns surrounding safety and reliability. When consumers start questioning the quality of a well-regarded vehicle, it naturally tarnishes the overall image of the brand. As Stellantis finds itself navigating a challenging landscape, it's clear they're facing a critical turning point. The pressure is mounting, and to combat this downward spiral, they've taken some drastic measures, actions that are stirring quite a bit of commotion in the automotive world. But what are the things that they really have to overcome? Jeep's price hike. Here's where it gets a bit tricky for Stellantis. If they genuinely want to revive their flagging sales, they need to consider making some significant adjustments. Mainly, they have to slash prices. Sure, they've been hinting at enticing discounts, like a neat $5,000 off here and there. But let's be real for a moment, that kind of deal just isn't going to cut it. Consumers today are looking for more than just minor tokens of appreciation. They want real value for their hard-earned money, especially when they're about to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a vehicle. Here's another mind-boggling fact to consider. Over the past 5 years, Jeep has jacked up their prices by more than 50%. That's absolutely wild when you think about it. I mean, honestly, would you be willing to drop a six-figure sum on a Jeep? Sure, there may be a select few who are okay with that, but the majority of us are left scratching our heads in disbelief. This shift toward an upmarket strategy appears to have pushed away the loyal customers who simply want a reliable vehicle that won't break the bank. It's like a betrayal of sorts. Imagine being a longtime Jeep enthusiast who meticulously saved up for years to buy your dream vehicle, only to discover it now costs as much as a small house. How does that leave you feeling as a potential buyer? Disheartened? Frustrated? Absolutely. It's tough to watch a brand you once adored morph into something that seems completely out of reach. The frustration is real, especially when your dreams of off-road adventures feel like they've slipped away with each price increase. It's as if Stellantis has forgotten the very essence of what makes Jeep so beloved: the promise of adventure, reliability, and the thrill of exploration without sacrificing your savings. There's no denying that the recent decline in sales seems to have clouded Stellantis' vision regarding what consumers actually want. But can you truly blame them? If I were Carlos Tavares, the CEO, I'd be sweating bullets as well. All the pressures of the market weighing down on my shoulders. With all of these challenges, the clock is ticking and the stakes are high. The brand must act strategically and decisively if it hopes to bounce back in this competitive environment. Each day without decisive action gives consumers more options to explore, leaving Jeep in a vulnerable position. Can they rise to the occasion? It's a hard-hitting reality, but it's one they must face head-on. A strong commitment to revamping their pricing structures and marketing approaches can certainly help rekindle that connection with existing customers, while attracting a new generation of adventure seekers. Jeep's plan to close is expected to hit hardest among union-represented workers, and the implications are wider than most people realize. The company has pinpointed external market conditions as the main culprit driving this decision. Let me explain. The shockwaves of layoffs. To put it bluntly, Stellantis is engaging in a comprehensive review and adjustment of its operational strategies as it aims to streamline its business and tackle an oversupply of vehicles flooding the market. It's a tough time out there, with exact numbers on these layoffs still murky. Reports indicate that both full-time and seasonal employees could be impacted, with some sites already giving workers the heads up about impending cuts. Imagine walking into work one day, not knowing if it's your last day at the plant. Such job insecurity is daunting. The downsides of these layoffs reach far beyond the individuals losing their jobs. Local economies, especially those heavily reliant on Stellantis manufacturing plants, face turbulence as the financial contributions from these jobs diminish. We're talking about communities that rely on the economic lifeblood generated by jobs at Stellantis. When layoffs strike, they can weaken consumer spending, which in turn affects local businesses, shops, and services. Imagine the mom and pop diner that relies on hungry workers stopping in for a quick bite after a long shift. How do they survive when fewer workers are around to support them? The ties between Stellantis and its local communities are stretched thin due to these workforce reductions. Layoffs create a ripple effect that can reverberate through local economies. This leads to rising unemployment rates and a decline in consumer confidence. For families who have grown accustomed to the stability that comes from jobs at Stellantis plants, the sudden need to adapt to financial hardships can be jarring. Nobody wants to face the uncertainty of whether they can make the next mortgage payment or afford to send their kids to school. And it isn't just the employees who feel the heat. The local dealer networks are also under significant strain. With a reduced number of vehicles rolling off the production lines and into showrooms, dealerships find themselves sitting on unsold inventory. Businesses that often operate on thin margins can lead to financial instability that could limit their ability to invest, grow, or even stay afloat. Dealers have expressed their frustrations about Stellantis' uncertain direction. It's like being in a boat without a paddle, struggling to understand where the current is taking you while battling choppy waters. Unions' threats. The United Auto Workers Union isn't holding back when it comes to the layoffs announced by Stellantis. This situation has become a flashpoint for tension between management and labor. Union leaders have come out swinging, arguing that these job cuts breach the commitments made during recent labor negotiations. Can you feel the heat? They're not just talking about job numbers, they're about safeguarding trust and the future of US manufacturing jobs. In response to what they perceive as a betrayal, the United Auto Workers have even laid down the gauntlet, threatening potential strikes. strikes. This situation has all the makings of a showdown. As it stands, local chapters of the United Auto Workers are gearing up to vote on whether to authorize strikes at various facilities impacted by these layoffs. Imagine how intense these meetings must be. The union leadership has made it abundantly clear, while strike action is a last resort, they see it as a crucial move to protect workers' rights. They believe in fighting for what has been contractually promised, and this urgency highlights a widening rift between Stellantis management and the labor force. Increasingly, this rift is being fueled by declining sales and production hurdles that show no sign of letting up. But the stakes are even higher. Union representatives have taken the fight a step further, filing grievances with the National Labor Relations Board. They argue that Stellantis' actions aren't just hurting workers, they're also undermining the collective bargaining agreements forged between the two parties. It raises a significant issue: what happens when trust erodes? If coordinations break down even further, the potential for widespread strikes could amplify disruptions on the production front, complicating already tricky inventory management challenges. Now let's shift gears and look at the internal fallout. Employee morale issues are on the rise as the layoffs approach. It's not just about the loss of jobs. The overall atmosphere at Stellantis plants is steeped in uncertainty and anxiety. Can you imagine walking into work every day and feeling like the ground could shift beneath your feet at any moment? Various factors are chipping away at morale, with job insecurity at the forefront. Employees are grappling with the lack of insightful communication from management regarding future plans, and they're left feeling dissatisfied with how the layoff process has been managed. Many workers find themselves feeling undervalued as they witness colleagues being abruptly laid off without clear explanations or any of the support they might expect from management during turbulent times. What does this mean for workplace dynamics? The lack of transparency breeds resentment and mistrust towards leadership, creating an environment where feelings of camaraderie begin to erode. Workers are not just worried about their colleagues, they are concerned about their own job security amid ever-present production cuts. Especially concerning is the perception that Stellantis seems to prioritize short-term financial gains over the welfare of its employees. In the eyes of workers, it may feel like their significant contributions go unnoticed or unappreciated, especially in light of corporate decisions that often seem detached from the harsh realities those on the ground experience each day. This disconnection only serves to fuel further discontent and anxiety within the workforce. To turn around its financial struggles and reclaim its position in the automotive industry, Jeep needs a rock-solid strategic plan. The automotive landscape is shifting, and it's time for Jeep to pivot accordingly. Let's break down some game-changing recommendations that can put Jeep back on track. Diversification of offerings. In a world where personal values increasingly align with sustainability, Jeep has to step up its game. This means expanding its lineup to encompass a wider variety of vehicles that appeal to different consumer needs and lifestyles. The electric vehicle market is booming, and it's not just a fleeting trend, it's here to stay. By 2030, Jeep should aim for electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids to make up a substantial chunk of its sales. Imagine rolling out a rugged, eco-friendly Jeep that embodies the spirit of adventure while being gentle on the planet. It's a win-win for the environment and for Jeep's image. Next, let's consider the reintroduction of popular models that fans have been missing. Remember the Jeep Cherokee? It was a beloved member of the Jeep family, attracting a dedicated following. Bringing back such models can help Jeep tap into nostalgia while drawing in new customers who are curious about the brand's rich heritage. It's like reuniting with an old friend. You get that warm, fuzzy feeling, and it rekindles loyalty. Jeep could easily recapture some lost market segments while boosting brand recognition in the process. Another crucial thing to consider is enhancing features and value. Let's be honest, consumers are always looking for a bit of extra bang for their buck. Adjusting pricing structures by cutting costs on key models while ramping up their value with extra features can make a massive difference. Picture this: what if Jeep included an additional $3,000 worth of top-notch features, like upgraded technology or safety enhancements, at no added cost? Models like the Gladiator and Wrangler would not only become more appealing to consumers, but also create a buzz that can elevate the brand's status in the market. Jeep should focus on creating vehicles tailored for emerging markets, especially in regions like India and Brazil, where interest in SUVs is surging. It's all about understanding local preferences and and customizing offerings to meet their needs. A Jeep that resonates with the adventurous spirit of a Brazilian commuter or fits seamlessly into the bustling streets of Indian cities can lead to a strong brand presence and loyalty that translates into increased sales. Marketing strategies. Regularly analyzing consumer trends, preferences, and feedback can create a feedback loop that reinforces positive change. This means diving into data and understanding what resonates with potential buyers and adjusting strategies accordingly. It's not just about throwing products into the market and seeing what sticks. It's about crafting a narrative that engages consumers on a deeper level. In conjunction with these adjustments, the brand's marketing strategies must also evolve. It's not enough to just have great products. Jeep needs to speak to people. Harnessing social media, influencer partnerships, and engaging storytelling will create an emotional connection with the audience. Think about inspiring campaigns showcasing brave adventurers driving their electric Wranglers through rugged terrain or maneuvering through city streets. Highlighting the journey, not just the destination, could spark interest and attract new fans. Furthermore, embracing collaboration and innovation can deliver some unique offerings to the market. Partnering with technology firms or eco-friendly organizations may yield groundbreaking solutions like cutting-edge infotainment systems or sustainable materials for vehicle interiors. Imagine the buzz generated by an all-terrain Jeep made from recycled materials. It would not only set trends, but it would also reflect a commitment to sustainability that modern consumers deeply care about. And let's shine a light on the post-purchase experience. The relationship with consumers shouldn't end once they leave the dealership. Jeep needs a robust customer engagement strategy that nurtures loyalty, whether it's through exclusive membership programs, off-road training events, or vibrant online communities. Creating a space for Jeep owners to unite and share their experiences can build a tribe. A sense of belonging can do wonders for brand loyalty, leading to repeat purchases and enthusiastic word-of-mouth referrals. Outsmarting the competition. To align its strategy with market demands, Jeep must first and foremost dive deep into the current landscape, leveraging comprehensive market research and robust consumer insights. What does this mean exactly? Well, it involves thoroughly understanding the evolving preferences of today's consumers, especially when it comes to factors like vehicle size, fuel efficiency, and the ever-important technology integration. These insights aren't just useful, they are crucial. They will serve as the foundation for product development and marketing efforts, ensuring that Jeep resonates with buyers on multiple levels. Imagine embarking on a journey where every twist and turn in consumer behavior is mapped out, guiding Jeep to create offerings that are not just relevant, but celebrating the spirit of adventure that the brand embodies. And let's not forget about the necessity of conducting a detailed competitive analysis. This isn't just about keeping an eye on rival brands. It's about honing in on what Jeep can do differently, how it can stand out brightly against the noise of the automotive landscape. By regularly analyzing competitor strategies, Jeep can pinpoint the gaps in its offerings and adapt accordingly. This proactive approach allows the brand to differentiate itself effectively, capitalizing on unique selling propositions that truly resonate with consumers. It's like being in a competition where knowing your rival's moves can give you the upper hand, empowering Jeep to fine-tune its products and marketing strategies to fit what people are actually looking for. Through a commitment to understanding the market, acknowledging competition, emphasizing its adventurous spirit, and prioritizing unbeatable after-sales support, Jeep can not only meet but exceed consumer expectations. This lets it align its strategies meaningfully with what buyers truly want, transforming casual shoppers into lifelong Jeep enthusiasts. So let's hit the road and see where this revamped strategy takes us. This isn't just about survival, it's about setting a course for Jeep to lead the pack in style. What do you think? Ready to see Jeep revolutionize its approach and embrace the open road like never before?